For more than 2,000 years, people have searched for a city that may never have existed. A mighty empire, swallowed whole by the sea in a single day and night. Its name has haunted every age since. Atlantis. Explorers have hunted for it on the ocean floor, in deserts, even beneath the ice of Antarctica. Treasure hunters, scholars, mystics, even the Nazis chased the dream. But here's the twist, almost no one tells you. Every clue traces back to a single man. A Greek philosopher telling a story nearly 24 centuries ago. So let's separate the legend from the truth. His name was Plato, one of the greatest thinkers who ever lived. And around 360 BC, he wrote 2 dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. In them, he tells a story he says was passed down for generations. It came, he claimed, from the wise Athenian Solon, who heard it from ancient priests in Egypt. And the tale they told was breathtaking. Long ago, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar, lay a mighty island. An island, Plato wrote, larger than Libya and Asia combined. This was Atlantis. At its heart stood a magnificent capital city. It was built in rings, alternating land and water, circle within circle, like a target seen from above. Bridges and canals led to a shining temple at the very center. The Atlanteans were fabulously wealthy. Their walls gleamed with gold, silver, and a mysterious metal called orichalcum. Hot and cold springs bubbled from the earth, and elephants roamed the land. Their harbors overflowed with ships. And their navy was the terror of the ancient world. Atlantis built a vast empire across the Mediterranean, until at last it set its sights on Athens itself. But tiny Athens stood firm and defeated the mighty invaders. And that, the story hints, sealed the Atlanteans' fate. For their power had made them arrogant, corrupt, and drunk on wealth. And so, the story says, the gods grew angry. Then came the catastrophe. Violent earthquakes tore the island apart. Floods surged in from the sea. And, in a single, terrible day and night, Atlantis sank beneath the waves and vanished forever. Gone, as if it had never been. It is a stunning story, and for centuries, few believed it was literally true. To the ancient Greeks, it was clearly a tale with a lesson. But a story this powerful refuses to stay buried. Over 2,000 years, the search for Atlantis became an obsession. People placed it in the Atlantic, off Spain, off Africa, and at Santorini in the Greek islands, even, incredibly, beneath the ice of Antarctica. Then, in 1882, the obsession exploded. An American writer named Ignatius Donnelly published a bestseller. He claimed Atlantis was absolutely real, the source of all civilization. It was a sensation, and it lit a fire that never went out. Occultists wove in psychic powers and lost ancient wisdom. Some imagined crystals and impossible technology. None of it was in Plato, all of it was invented. Even the Nazis sent expeditions chasing a mythic master race. And Hollywood cemented the legend forever. Atlantis had escaped Plato entirely and become whatever people needed it to be. So, let's do the honest thing and ask the real question. Was there ever a real, sunken Atlantis? Here is what scholars and scientists actually think. There is no evidence, none, of a sunken continent in the Atlantic. We have mapped the ocean floor in extraordinary detail, and there is simply no lost landmass where Plato placed it. And continents do not sink into the sea in a single day. The timeline is impossible too. Plato said Atlantis fell 9,000 years before his own time. That would place it deep in the Stone Age. Long before anyone built cities, navies, or empires. And here is the biggest clue of all. Not one writer before Plato ever mentioned Atlantis. Not a single earlier record, anywhere. For a world-shaking empire, that is simply unthinkable. The overwhelming conclusion of scholars is this. Plato invented Atlantis. He built it as an allegory, a story with a lesson. A warning about pride, greed, and the fall of arrogant powers. Mighty Atlantis was a mirror held up to Plato's own Athens. But that leaves one last haunting question. Where did Plato get the idea? Because even invented stories grow from something real. And here, history offers a chilling possibility. Around 1,000 years before Plato, a real, advanced civilization thrived. The Minoans, on the island of Crete. A dazzling Bronze Age sea power, rich, artistic, and ruling the waves. An advanced island culture, much like Atlantis. And then, around 1600 BC, catastrophe struck. On the nearby island of Thera, a volcano erupted. It was one of the largest eruptions in human history. It blew the island apart and hurled giant tsunamis across the sea. Those waves battered the Minoan world, crippling one of the ancient world's greatest civilizations. An advanced island power devastated by the sea. Does that sound familiar? The Minoans were not Atlantis, but they may be the distant memory that inspired it. So no, Atlantis was almost certainly never a real place. And yet, the legend simply will not die, because Atlantis was never really about a city. It's about our longing for a lost golden age just out of reach. It whispers that we once had something magnificent and lost it, and that maybe, just maybe, it's still out there to be found. Perhaps that is the real lesson of Atlantis. The most powerful lost city was never on any map. It was built out of a story. And some stories are simply too beautiful to let sink. If you love history that's true, strange, and told to you straight, subscribe. We've got a whole world of it. See you in the next one.